So I was going to say I had no slides, but it looks like I have one slide here. Now for something completely different. I do have props, so I don't have enough for everyone. So please pass them around, and then you can fight over who gets to keep them afterwards if you want them. I'm not taking them back on the airplane, I'll tell you that. It's too heavy. So I'm Jonathan Bengtson. I'm the University Librarian out at the University of Victoria on the extreme west of Canada. Happy to be here. It's been an excellent day so far. I've looked forward to this day for some time, and it hasn't let me down. It's lots of good learning here. I didn't actually write anything out, and I've rewritten my notes a couple times today, so I'm kind of interested to know what I'm going to talk about. Maybe a little bit more interested than you are at the moment, but we'll see. I am cribbing from a couple of things I talked about a couple of months ago in the UK for a different talk around the GLAM sector. But maybe I'll just start out in the context of what am I talking about? Community engagement in libraries. One of the themes that's come out for me today that really started with Jennifer's comments is around intentionality and the importance of intentionality in our approaches to special collections as avenues to opening up the university to the community and furthering our institutional goals. Right? Libraries in general are soft landing points for the community, and special collections are an integral part of attracting the wider community to our institutions for all the reasons that we want engagement. Then I think I'll say something about context as well and differentiation, picking up a little bit on what Tim and Rosemary surfaced this afternoon, and the importance of building relationships to community engagement. I'm going to stop looking at this slide now. So, and I'm going to do that, I'll say some general comments, I think, and then use two quite tangible examples of what we've done at the University of Victoria, just to keep myself limited, otherwise who knows how long I'll be standing here, and we don't want to see Gwen angry, because Gwen comes after me and she's terrifying when she's angry. Just kidding, Gwen. So first, geography matters. Geography matters within our workplaces. Whose office is next to whose. Geography influences the shape of local collaboration as well. Think of things like the Knowledge Quarter in London or the Bloor Street Cultural Corridor in Toronto. Geography matters if you're situated on an island, as the University of Victoria is on Vancouver Island, which is separated from the cultural, what I would call the cultural gravitational forces of both Vancouver and Seattle, which are very short floatplane flights away, or ferry trips away, separated by the waters of the Juan de Fuca Strait, and hence the city, which is also the seat of the provincial government, is blessed with an abundance of cultural institutions of significance, including the Royal BC Museum, one of the largest museums in Canada, the Provincial Archives, the Art Gallery of Greater Victoria, the renowned Pacific Opera Victoria, the Victoria Symphony, the University Art Collections, numerous well-established smaller museums, theatre groups, and historic sites of significance to Canada's cultural heritage, as well as, of course, active and vibrant First Nations communities, not to mention, of course, the University of Victoria itself. So I guess I say that to encourage you to think about your own geographies, intentionally think about your own geographies and what that means for community engagement. Layer on to that, of course, your context. The context matters too, your institutional mission. UVic, we are proud of and known for our experiential learning programs with students, our co-op program. Somewhat to our surprise, we're told that we're pretty good at community engagement in general as a university, and many of our administrators are invited really around the world to talk about university community engagement. And we're, as many of our institutions are, interested in the convergence of research and teaching, particularly for our students. The other interesting thing that I've found at UVic over the last 6.5 years is the increasing engagement with our Indigenous communities and the learning that we can have from them about a very different approach to knowledge and to access to knowledge as well. So all of those, that context and geography informs the role of the library. And we've just gone through a renewed strategic planning process. We We had a strategic plan that was learning, research, and community, 3 pillars. This time around, we're about to land in the next few weeks on open, engaged, and enduring. And I guess it's really the engaged piece I'll mostly talk about here. And I'll just maybe bring this down to these 2 examples here, because 10 minutes goes fast. The first thing I want to talk about is a program that we did in 2013, where we partnered with over a dozen community organizations to create what was called Shakespeare Onstage, Offstage, which was turned out to be a critical event that continues to have reverberations across Victoria as it laid deeper foundations for arts and cultural collaborations in the region. So these are just pamphlets from the event you can look at as I speak here about it briefly. So the initial idea was to bring the only copy. Canada has, as far as I'm aware, only 1 copy of the first folio. It's owned by or held by the Fisher Library. It came there in 1973. Hadn't moved until 2013. So we brought together the first and third folios, both from the University of Toronto, to Victoria to be displayed along with local copies of the second and fourth folios for an exhibition leading up to the Pacific Opera Victoria's 100th production, which was Falstaff's Verdi, of course. Or Verdi's Falstaff, sorry. Of course. The initial collaboration was between the libraries, our university art collections, who we had to convince that anyone would come and see a bunch of old books, right? To date, it's the most attended exhibition that they've ever had. And the Pacific Opera, and it was built upon a previous engagement and strong relationship we had with the opera company formed a couple of years prior during a partnership held to promote an operetta called Mary's Wedding, which is about Canada in the First World War. And we have strong military collections in Victoria too. And it was the first time really in BC, possibly ever in Canada, that 4 folios were shown together. So we sought out some additional collaborators, and the event quickly caught the imagination of many, including the city council and mayor, who proclaimed 6 weeks of Shakespeare days leading up to the opera. And eventually we ended up with the partners you'll see in that pamphlet, local theatre groups, the Royal BC Museum and Provincial Archives, the Provincial Legislative Library, Internet Shakespeare Editions, which is a well-known major DH project based at UVic, local public schools with whom we partnered to create lesson plans for teachers, and we do that more and more now with our collections because of this event. This will be a 3rd time a brewery has been mentioned this afternoon. We partnered with a local brewery to brew a Falstaff ale, which is wonderful. Faculty, of course, in humanities and fine arts, the Greater Victoria Public Library, and others. So these partners brought an array of events and learning opportunities which enriched our programming beyond what we ever could have imagined. But they also built strong personal relationships across a diversity of organizations and organizational leaders that sometimes do not naturally work together. So the experience helped to establish really a robust culture, local culture of GLAM collaboration, I think beyond GLAM collaboration really, particularly with our First Nations communities. And now within the region we think about programs that we want to do, not just my organization but others. We start with thinking about who can we partner with and how do we reach out to our colleagues across the region. And this was all facilitated through special collections. The other aspect I want to talk about is our publications. So these were meant, again, intentionally to be soft landing points into our collections. They were meant to be accessible, high quality, and free and open. So we have these both in print and digital. And again, they're based on some stuff I did in Toronto before, which I'll hand those around. But my librarians took this to a whole new level. So we have one on our 19th century collection of a second bishop of Vancouver Island, who was murdered in Alaska. The gun is in the Royal BC Museum. Won a book design award. We partnered with our athletics department and surfaced a lot of collections, particularly AV material that we didn't know existed. We've got a lot of alumni engagement through the Vikes publication. We have extensive modernist publications. So these are meant to be accessible, visually interesting, but also they're written by a whole range of individuals, from students to community members, to our librarians, to faculty, to administrators. Sheila Rogers wrote a little introduction to one, who's our chancellor right now. The Malahat Review is the one of the leading literary magazines in Canada, so they just had their 50th anniversary. I'm going to make it work, sorry.
That's okay.
And then also our transgender archive. So this one, we have the largest collection of transgender material in the world. We also have a chair of Transgender Studies. This has now gone through 3 different editions because there's quite a lot of interest in it. It's been downloaded tens of thousands of times without our actually promoting it. We just kind of put it on our website and nowhere else. This one's actually for Jennifer, but you can all look at it. We talked about it last night. So they're just they're easy ways to promote collections, to bring awareness to collections. We now have everyone from our president to our vice president of operations attending the opening events because there's a lot of anticipation around these publications now. We're about to do one on our artist archives. We just announced a Johnny Cash collection. Johnny Cash's manager was Canadian. His collections include gold records and telephone conversations and things have just come to the university. And the one I'm most excited about is what we're, for lack of a better term right now, going to call 58 at 58. So 58 objects at 58 years of age. We were founded in 1963, although we predate that with a relationship with McGill back in the 19th century. But the university was founded in '63, and what we're going to do is go out to students, administrators, our staff, our faculty, our community members, and ask them to write about their favorite object within the collections as another avenue of engagement. So what's the impact, just to wrap up? Our fundraising, both in terms of monetary gifts and donations, have doubled in the last 4 or 5 years since we've been doing these things. The use of our special collections, in terms of the classes that come in, we've had that in another classroom, faculty engagement, our use of collections reference questions have doubled. We have broadened both internal and external engagement with the library through special collections and these activities, and built deeper relationships which have a reverberating effect across the institution. And of course, we further the university's social and cultural role and help to tell the story. We've talked about storytelling before, about why our universities are really, really critical to the health of our society. So, thank you very much.